Welcome everybody. We're here to answer a question, and that is if it's worth playing Raid in 2025. And what I'm going to do on this channel is I'm jumping into a completely new account. I actually played the game for several years, gave it a break for roughly 1.5, and I'm now picking it up again. And I thought, in the vein of doing that, I'm going to create a new account and I'm going to start a channel where I will upload videos to make it easier for people to first of all understand what Raid is and what it isn't, what the game is really for, and also how you play it, how you get very quickly to a mid and a late game, and to not fall into all of those pitfalls that I myself, when I started my first account, fell into, and all the mistakes that I made. So if you're here because you want to learn about the game a little bit, because you want to also progress quickly, and you're maybe curious, maybe you've seen some advertisement about the game, you heard a couple of things, you want to see if it's true or not, and give it a shot yourself, then you're in the perfect spot. We're going to jump in just a second. If you want to start the game, you will get a lot of extra benefits and heroes to start things off with if you're using the link that you can actually find in the description of the video. It gives you Ugo as one of the starter champions actually, and a couple of others also along the way. But we're going to jump into the game right now without further ado, to give you a bit of a first impression and to teach you exactly what this is, what it isn't, and if the game is for you. So as we're heading into this, I will give you a very rough overview in the first video of the game itself, and we're going to talk about it a bit. Now, if you have the game installed, you made it through the tutorial, and you're maybe not quite familiar with all of that's going on, you're ending up in the starting screen, and let's be honest, it can be a little bit overwhelming at first. Now, Plarium has actually done a lot to make this a bit easier to understand. A few of the things are now gated behind certain levels, so they're trying to really get you into the game very slowly, so they're not totally overwhelmed. But as with most of the mobile games, one of the first things that you really need to do is you just click through your quests, you get all of the free stuff that you get at the beginning, where the game is just giving you, in this case, you get silver, you get a lot of energy, just so you can play the game. And that's going to be your bread and butter as the game continues, just in general, trying to get through dailies and just see what you can do slowly in order to progress your account. But the game itself, if you installed it through the link that is in the description of the video, is also going to give you a couple of nice starting tools. For example, this is an exceptionally great champion. So you get Ugo first, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment when we're going into the tavern, for example, or into the champion lineup. Ugo is really a pretty fantastic champion. So one of the most important things that the champion actually brings to the table is that you also have a revive. So that's something that will help you a lot with progression just in general. If you already selected your starter champion, for example, hopefully you went for Kale. This is probably the best starter champion that you currently have in the game, because he has poison, and this is something that will actually help your account a lot. Not only if we're talking about the clan boss, but also when we're talking about certain dungeons. Poison in general is incredibly strong because it's a percentage-based damage that is getting dished out. So poison heroes in a lot of the content play a huge role. But just generally, after you lock that already in, you obviously are looking at the gameplay itself before we're going any deeper into items, into upgrades, into what you should focus for first. So let's do a couple of these battles, and I will explain you in the midst of it also a bit on what this is and what this isn't. So generally speaking, when we're talking about Raid, what people should do first, in my opinion, is you always want to make sure that you're getting the auto battle on, and that you're also accelerating the speed to ×2. When I first played the game, I honestly went into the first couple of rounds and I thought, hey, this is a little bit like the old school Final Fantasies that I know. You have your round-based combat, you're selecting your abilities, you're playing around those. So I expected it to be that kind of RPG, and that's just simply not what it is. So when you're looking at the game and you're starting with this auto battle, and you're just moving from one round to the next, sometimes it's honestly a little bit surprising and weird, because you're thinking to yourself, hey, why am I playing a game that plays itself? And the answer is actually pretty simple. There's like two aspects to playing Raid, in my personal opinion, that make it pretty appealing. One is obviously the gotta catch them all, where there's lots of champions that you can collect, that you can level up, and it's a little bit like Pokemon, right? So very similar in that sense. But when it comes to the actual play, when we're talking about the campaign, and especially at the beginning, it's not really all that challenging. The game is just trying to give you a couple of really nice, easy wins, and makes it, so to say, easy for you to just get a start. But what the game really is about, it's a puzzle game. You have a lot of champions that can be equipped in a lot of different ways that ranges from what kind of item sets they use, how you upgrade these items, which heroes might have some synergies together, which champions you can use against certain bosses and not against others. And with all of the content that gets unlocked as you progress through the game, this is becoming more and more challenging. And I gotta say, it's really, really fun to figure out later on in particular just what you can use, how you have to get those combinations set up, and also how you have to tweak your stats, because there are certain speed combos that you need to go for. This is going a little bit too much into detail, but at the end of the day, I would describe Raid as a bit of a puzzle game. You're getting a lot of content. You can just upgrade your items, your champions. You can book them. There's masteries, and there's very different ways to build every single champion that you have. And you need to find a way later on to just break through content in general, and with which you're then trying to unlock more content, progress slowly. And this is just the big appeal of it. So there's actually a lot of fun to it, and this is just something at the beginning that you have to understand about the game, because if you don't, then you very quickly end up in a situation where this might become a little bit frustrating. But I can promise you, if you play that properly, the game can be played for ages. There's obviously also a pay-to-win component to all of this, so if you want to progress super quickly, then this is definitely true. But you can also play completely for free as a free-to-play account. So this is essentially what's going on with Raid. I don't want to touch on this too deep right now, but we are going to go in the near future about a few points where, especially early on, it's really important that you understand what you're doing, because, as I mentioned in the intro, there are a lot of pitfalls and mistakes that you can make, and they can't wreck your account, but it's one of those facepalm things where, you know, you start playing and all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, what have I done, once you understand what's going on here. So this just as a bit of an introduction. As I already said, if you guys are interested in playing this together also with me, I'm going to create a clan as well that you can join. If you use the link that is in the video description, you will get extra champions that you can use there. There are also a few codes that I'm going over in some of the other videos for new accounts, where you can make selections between different champions that you want to start with. So there's multiple ways to boost an early account, and these are just things that Plarium added so that it's easier for you to catch up with people that have already played for a while. So once again, Raid in 2025, still a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to enjoy leveling up a new account. If you guys are interested, install the game through the link that is in the video description. If you already have any questions at this point, please feel free to drop them into the comment section, and I'm going to make sure to answer them as we go along. But I'll show you, with the help of this new account, how to play the game, what to do, and how to slowly progress, and more specifically, what not to do. But before we finish the video for today, one more thing that we have to really quickly do. We already have, when it comes to our champions, we now have Ugo, which is going to be super important for us. We have Kale, another one that is just absolutely stellar. But there is another free champion that you can get. There's actually more than one, but as a new account, you have to actually choose. So when it comes to the promo code, what I would definitely recommend you guys to do is to use the promo code GetAlice, sorry, and that is going to give you another champion. We're going to actually look at a legendary champion with this, and this is also going to help you a lot progressing quickly within the game. So we have Alice the Wanderer, we have Ugo right at the start, and we now have Kale too. Those will be your backbone at the beginning of the game, essentially, and something that we're going to use a lot in order to progress quickly. So as you now start things up, again, feel free to play particularly in the campaign, level the champions up a little bit. Make sure that in the first couple of days that you're checking out your playtime rewards. This is going to allow you to just play continuously, especially with the energy that you get. Make sure that you also check out the missions. The one thing that I would really highlight is that when it comes to missions and just general things, you want to really look at your dailies and complete those. But when we're, for example, talking about missions in general, don't force it too much. It's always nice if you can complete the next mission, but don't... If there's a certain milestone where you actually have a problem breaking through, just don't force it too much. Oftentimes, people, you know, are tempted to come in with a certain challenge, for example, and say like, oh my god, I want the next reward. But maybe you're not quite there yet. In order to jump that gap, it would need a huge investment in silver. You would have to use gems or whatnot, and you kind of want to avoid this at the beginning. So the game is really a marathon and not a sprint, so if you show a little bit of patience there, you will be rewarded down the line. But just generally make sure that when you play this game that you try to play it on a daily basis and get just through the daily missions that you have. You have a couple of daily quests, a couple of daily missions, you have weeklies as well and challenges, and you can go through those a lot. I'm going to upload videos quite frequently to show you guys what to do, but again, for the first day, focus a little bit on playing the campaign, show how far you can go with this. Don't upgrade your items too much, we're going to go over that actually in the next video, and with that, just have some fun, experiment a little bit with the game, and just make sure that you're getting a bit of an idea of what the game is like, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper where it becomes more challenging. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.